Cheesehead TV brings you two guys who like to think they know something about football.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Packer Transplants Live. I am Aaron Nagler, and joining me, as always, is Mr. Corey Behnke, my partner here at Cheesehead TV. I'm coming to you live from Cheesehead TV, New York. Corey joins us live across the street from Lambeau Field. We are ready to talk some Packers. What do we have on tap today, Corey?
Today, we try to push past the loss to the Vikings and look ahead to a trip out west and a showdown with the Rams. But right now, it's time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. We got the good, we got
Jaden Reed.
We got the bad, we got
the pass rush, or lack thereof.
We got the ugly, we got
the Narv puppy, Braden Narvison, missing not one but two kicks, Corey. And, you know, traditionally, when you don't score, you end up losing games. And, hey, if you make those kicks, you probably win the game. That's some ugly stuff there, Behnke. Ugly stuff. But you know what's not ugly?
What's that?
Lambeau Field, majestic behind you. Looking like a beautiful day in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
It sure is getting to the end of summer here. I know a lot of people say we're already in fall, but you're starting to feel the crispness now. Crisp.
Yeah.
Wait, let's say that. I'm losing my vernacular. Crispness. There's some crispness in the air here. You can definitely feel fall right now in Wisconsin for sure. It's coming.
There certainly was not a lot of crispness to the Packers offense at the start of that game on Sunday, but they finally found their footing and definitely seemed to get on track in the fourth quarter. A little too late, but there at the end of the first half, we had a little glimpse, a little something, and that, ladies and gentlemen, leads us to the hotness. Oh, yeah. It's time for the hotness. Oh, baby, this play, I'm telling you, when you see how this transpires, it is the definition of hotness. First of all, let's roll this clip because watch how they run basically a clear out for Jaden Reed underneath, who has a little stutter and go up the right side there. Beautiful placement from Jordan Love and a great catch. Here we go from the end zone angle. Watch Jordan Love just drop this in a bucket. Gorgeous ball. Outstanding work from Jaden Reed. That, ladies and gentlemen, was the hotness. Like I said, they finally got going a bit towards the fourth quarter, but too little too late. Would have liked to have seen that coming out of the gate, but we'll take it. We'll take the hotness where we can find it, Corey, essentially.
Yeah, we will.
I do want to give a shout out to our good friends over at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy sports made easy. You just select two or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Go to prizepicks.com and use code CHTV. Spend $5 on lineups and get $50 instantly. You can join in the fun at the link in the description of this video. Go hit up some Prize Picks, ladies and gentlemen. Corey, I did some Prize Picks the other day.
Yeah, I was going to ask how your prize picking went.
It was not good, Corey. I got 2 out of 4 that were fine, but ultimately, Tyreek Hill and the Miami, the Tyreek Hill and the Miami Dolphins.
So you lost that.
No. You don't pick the Packers. You pick players, and the stats say over under on X number of yards, or will score a touchdown,
Jordan Love
or whatever.
Did you pick Jordan?
In that game on Sunday, all I picked was Aaron Jones, and then this was about Monday Night Football, my latest one. I'll do it all, baby, all the NFL. I'll be doing another one on Friday.
I feel like you should always have to pick a Packer, though.
Well, they weren't on offer when I picked last week.
What?
So.
Wait.
Next week they should be.
Am I going to have a bone to pick with fucking Prize Picks here? What the hell's going on?
No,
you can't
you'll
pick
be
a
fine.
Packer? How can you not pick a Packer? Oh, it's tailored to people. I don't understand how this works. I need to get
I'll
this
show
out.
you next week when I make my picks on Friday. I'll show you how it's done there, Corey, and maybe you will dive in, make your own prize picks.
Maybe I'll do it. I seriously don't know how this works, so I probably am a good candidate for them to try. I'm probably not in the demo, but either way.
Oh, I love it. Anyway, let's get to some Packers news, shall we? Because there is a bunch of it. Christian Watson, as we all saw, got bent in half in that game against the Vikings. Thankfully, and that sounds weird to say, but thankfully, he only suffered an ankle sprain. And from initial reporting, it sounded like it was going to be, not a fracture, so that's good. His season's not over, but there was a decent chance that he'd be placed on injured reserve because of a high ankle sprain, which traditionally they're tricky and they can linger and they can be problematic. But I tell you what, the last 2 times Matt LaFleur has been in front of a microphone, including today, sure sounds like they really avoided some serious kind of problematic injury news for Christian Watson. Matt saying not only is he not going on injured reserve, there's a decent chance that he only misses a week or maybe 2. So that's, again, much like with Jordan Love where it looked pretty damn serious. Christian Watson didn't look great on Sunday, getting carted off, but apparently he's dodged a major bullet there. So that's good news long
That's good to hear. I like that.
Other news, the Packers worked out 2 kickers, Corey. I'm not going to give you their names because their names don't matter. I am done caring about kickers until they start making kicks. But they did work out 2 kickers, which means maybe the leash on Narf Puppy is getting a little shorter, Corey. All he's got to do is keep missing kicks.
I've been done talking about kickers my whole life, so.
I feel you. Getting to some more pertinent matters. Practice was held earlier today, and baby, there's a list of dudes who did not participate, including Jair Alexander, Elton Jenkins, Luke Musgrave, Devontae Wyatt, and Christian Watson. Of course, not surprised there with Watson, but man, that's quite a list. And that's quite a bunch of talent not participating in practice, though I know Elton Jenkins spoke with reporters in the locker room after practice and indicated he's fine. They're resting his knee. He is dealing with a knee issue, but apparently he's fine and good to go for Sunday. So that's encouraging, obviously. On the plus side, Carrington Valentine and Jordan Morgan both back at practice. We saw Valentine was out last week. He's been slowly coming back. He was doubtful heading into Sunday's game. Hopefully get him back sooner rather than later. And Jordan Morgan dealing with that shoulder injury, back at practice. Hopefully he can, start working his way back into at least a competition with Sean Ryan, though Sean Ryan's played pretty well in Morgan's absence. The final kind of piece of news here, and again, dealing with injuries, but this is a guy coming back, hopefully, from injury sooner rather than later. Jonathan Ford, former 7th-round pick, defensive lineman. His practice window was open today. The Packers have 21 days to determine whether they activate him to the 53-man roster or shut him down for the season. So maybe some reinforcements coming along the defensive line at some point. Ford did have a pretty promising training camp, though so did everyone else across the defensive front, and that hasn't really mattered a whole hill of beans so far through 4 games. So once again, Corey, reminding us that a lot of stuff we see in the summer and during training camp can be deceiving. And what we think we see, possibly we don't. I did want to kind of give a 30,000-foot view moment here, Corey, because I know we had our happy hour last night with our Patreon members and Carry the G Club members, and there was a lot of discussion about the season so far, right? I'm interested in your take here. With a quarter of the season down, essentially, I know it doesn't go into exact quarters anymore because of the 17th game, but essentially, you're a month in, right? Packers have played 4 games. You've gotten your first real kind of blush of what the Packers are, essentially, right? What would you grade the Packers season as so far, Professor Behnke? If you had to give a letter grade, where are the Packers sitting after 4 games?
I mean, are we grading on a curve?
Well, you're the professor. It's your program. You
here's
write
what's
the
funny.
curriculum,
The only reason you're bringing this up, I feel like I was the instigator for this because I put a grade on the Trello card before you created the script. So
remember 2 weeks ago when I put everything in the script but erased everything on the Trello card because I had put it in the script, and you were like, "Where did all my notes go?" This week I kept it, and yes, I utilized your notes to help create the script.
I mean, I started on a curve. I was at a B minus on a curve. Then I got into A minus territory on a curve because I was really thinking about it. Because two Malik Willis wins. I'm sorry, but if I
That's
told
pretty damn
you,
impressive.
if I told you during training camp that a quarterback who's not even on the team right now is going to win 2 NFL games for us and they're not even on our team, you'd be like, no way, that's crazy. So yeah, they were 2 trashy teams, but I don't know. I think a B minus on a curve, not on a curve. I think it's a little crappier, but you kind of have to with the Jordan Love injury. I mean, there's no other way around it, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. I think I'm a little more bullish than you are. I
got to an A minus.
I know, but I'm saying but you just kind of beat that back to a B minus as you're trying to talk your way into trying to be realistic and not be a homer and a Mister They're going 17-0 type fan that you usually are. So it feels like you're trying to bat down your grade.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing.
I would have been. I'm hovering around like a B plus.
I would have been more bullish. I would have been more bullish right now in this moment. But then I remembered the thing I'm the most bullish on this team let us down the most this last weekend. Ooh. And that is our wide receiving core.
Yes.
And
let's talk about the offense, shall we?
Yeah. In my opinion, the wide receiving core lost the game for us this past. Yes, we shot ourselves in the foot largely due to the wide receiving core. Yeah, we had crazy penalties like we've seen throughout. And
yes,
Narv Puppy missed 2 kicks. But, the wide receiver play has been something we knew we could hang our hat on. It's the thing that I was the most bullish on coming in. And a lot of people were complaining about Jordan Love throwing to people like Bo Melton, but I'm like, this is the beauty of our team is that all 53 especially on the offensive side have some crazy upside. So
Yep.
I think my grade went down a little bit because of that, but otherwise
I can understand that. To me, watching the wide receivers, I'm like, make a play for your quarterback. Your guy is coming back from injury, right? And you're supposed to be rallying around. And obviously this is a insanely dramatic example, but I think it's apt. The night that Favre played after his dad died, and those guys go out there and make plays for him. I mean, you're talking about Javon Walker going up against double coverage, skying, high pointing the ball, and coming down with what should have been an interception made into a huge touchdown. Wesley Walls having one of the best receptions you'll ever see a tight end make on a corner out in the end zone. Robert Ferguson pulling up a phenomenal catch up the right sideline. Again, I get it's a dramatic example, but that's an example of wide receivers and pass catchers making plays for their quarterback. And it just felt like, to your point, Corey, yeah, there were errant throws. Yes, he was off. Certainly rusty, especially early in the game. But, man, make a play for your quarterback. I'm begging you. To me, I'm with you. That was probably the most disappointing aspect for me because of the fact that we know how talented they are. We spent all summer talking about how, look at what they did last year. They're going to build off that. And then they just kind of reverted to what we saw the first month of last season. They've got a year under their belt. Thought we were past this. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. That was a very disappointing display. And it's of course, it's married with a bunch of great plays as well, like that Jaden Reed touchdown we just showed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying they were garbage. But
no,
man,
they were actually really good. It's just you got, the drops, last 2 weeks drops are just too many times. You get paid to do one goddamn job, do it.
Do it. Do
besides
the job.
Blocking, and a lot of it's on coach. We talked about this last night a little bit. He went away from his game plan, and no one knows why. Is he scared of the Minnesota Vikings for some reason? What is going on there? You got blocking wide receivers. You've got this whole team that can run the ball, and you just forfeit that until the second half. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, the score obviously dictates some of that, but to your point, that's what you're doing well through these first 3 games that you've played. Lean into that. I understand you can't get it all back at once and you are down multiple scores and you want to erase that deficit, but you're not going to do it in one play. You're certainly not going to do it throwing it 50 plus times. That Yeah, I'm with you.
I just
I'm
don't
definitely
understand
with
the
you.
mentality in the first half, too. Like, you're still in the first half. There's plenty of time. You could be
Yeah,
down
there's
freaking
so
30
much
points and
ball
it could
game
never
left.
be done before, but it's the momentum of a game changes so many times on different things that just run your shit.
Run your offense. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Hey, one guy who is helping them run their offense, no matter if they are trying to throw it or run it, is Zach Tom Bombadil. This cat is playing out of his mind. To my eyes, he had one really kind of what you would classify as a poor play against the Vikings. And every other snap, he seemed exemplary. I mean, the fact that I'm somebody on Twitter, and I don't remember the name, and I didn't think of it until just now, but someone made this comparison, which I thought was hilarious. Everyone talking about how the Packers went from, you went from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. Man, the Packers went from Dave Bakhtiari to Zach Tom. Zach Tom is that good right now. He is an
That's crazy.
absolute all-pro tackle. He is playing at that level. I mean, if he can keep this up for the remainder of the season, he's going to be in the all-pro discussion. I don't know if he wins the award. It's really tough at that position. There are so many names that kind of get the nod first, voting-wise, but, man, he is playing at that level. And it's crazy to me that another day 3 pick. You know, everyone talking about, we need a first-round selection, and they took Jordan Morgan, and who knows what he turns out to be. But, man, all they do is just pluck out these guys from the third day and make, really amazing football players out of them.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Zach does the work himself, but that's crazy to me. It's crazy that this is like, another generation, another era of elite tackle play that the Packers found on day 3 of the draft.
Yeah, day 3 is definitely the most boring. Day 3 is eat your vegetables day. Day 3 is like, ugh.
A lot of kale.
Dread day 3.
A lot of kale on day 3.
I'm excited for the draft, and and in Green Bay, and I'm still dreading Saturday, day 3. Because, the problem with the draft is you get to day 1, you're like, football, I haven't had football in so long. I want football. Oh, football, shiny object. And then you actually are like, you get to the draft, you're so excited, everything's happening, all your friends are back, you're in your thing, you're looking at all the stuff, and then you're like, there's a meat market. I forgot. It's not football.
It's not football at all.
And then you're like, wait, we're going to do this again? But then it's not as cool, and it's different. And then the third day, it's like, oh, my God, we're going to spend 8 hours here doing this? What are we doing?
I mean, that is for the hyper draft nerd.
That's the draft.
And some people are into it. Some people are into it, and that's fine. You and I are not them.
I feel like the same people that are into the draft, like day 3, because I'm into the draft. Okay, I'm down. I'm here for it. Draft guide.
Of course.
How many years have we had that? I'm
12,
into the draft.
13,
but
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, day 3. The same people who are into day 3 of the draft are the same people who go to a shareholders meeting more than one time in their life. I think there's a Venn diagram.
Very possible. I think there might be. There's some crossover there. There's some definite crossover there. Hey, we were talking about the wide receivers. You talk about, Christian Watson, thankfully, not as bad as it looked, but he is going to be out for a couple of games at least, most likely. It's time for Dontavian Wicks to step up. We certainly saw him have both the ups and the downs against the Vikings. There's no doubt he is, starting to realize probably that it doesn't just happen. You don't just show up and hit the ground running. He has had a bit of a rough start to his sophomore year in the NFL. And I kind of jokingly put it out there on Twitter during the game, like he really is Davante Adams, as much as we heard that his rookie year, because of his amazing get off from the line of scrimmage, his ability to separate, those comparisons were made. And now he's having a bit of a struggle his second year, much like Davante did. And I'm not saying he's going to have the exact same trajectory, but it is kind of funny to see him dropping passes that we've seen him catch 100 times already in his young career. Plays that we've seen him make, we thought were routine, that he struggled to pull down. or mental mistakes, not being on the same page as the quarterback. I think now's the time, though, with Christian Watson out, you got to suspect he is going to be a featured part of this offense. I mean, I don't think you're ever going to dilute what Jaden Reed is doing, but I think Wicks is going to have plenty of opportunities here while Watson's on the shelf.
I mean, I hope so. I mean, yeah, Wicks. Yeah. Speaking of Devontae, so the Packers don't have $30 million. So
you're talking about Devontae's desire for a trade. Interesting how that all works out, isn't it?
Yeah.
You didn't want to play with Jordan Love. You wanted to go play with your boy. Now that's all falling apart.
I mean, he wouldn't have made the money. He wouldn't have made the money with us that he would have at the Raiders, though. I don't think we were offering the same money.
Mean, it would have been similar. It wouldn't have been as much, certainly. But,
that's generational wealth. So
yes, and I don't begrudge it.
I mean,
don't begrudge
here's
it.
the thing. The bigger issue that I have is he going to be able to get as good of a deal? Is he going to be able to get a great deal? Or because he wants to trade, he's going to get a shittier deal? I don't understand how that works.
What's interesting is because he has but he does have 2 years left on his deal, and as far as I can tell, there's no more guaranteed money. So essentially, this is a great time for him to demand a trade because he can sign a new deal with a bunch of guaranteed money. So whether he eclipses whatever number he had, I don't know. But
got it.
The names, the teams that are being thrown out as far as the Saints,
they have money. The Jets.
That's where Derek Carr is, and the Jets, that's where Aaron Rodgers is.
But do the Jets have money? Because they've thrown a lot of money around.
Well, you can sign whoever you want, Corey. That's not a problem. The Jets will make it work if they can reach terms with the Raiders as far as compensation. They'll make the Devontae thing work contractually at the expense of the future. But they don't care. They don't care. Everyone in that building is just praying to keep their jobs.
The Jets right now, nothing is more fun. If you are depressed right now about the Packers, I want you. This fucking moron, the guy, the stupid idiot who stole from all the charities or whatever, and now he's a huge Jets fan. And we featured him on because he was a Jordan Love hater.
Yeah,
Carton. Yeah, I can't stand that guy. Oh my God, he had this rant. It is so precious. He is so upset with everybody's upset. Everybody's I love New York Jets fans are so classic. I'm going to blame whoever is the last person that hasn't been blamed yet. So now the new person to blame for the Jets is Robert Saleh, which I love, right? Robert Saleh.
Yep.
No, he's been here 9 years. What the hell has he done? And I don't think he's been here 9 years, but whatever. And so it's hilarious to watch Mike Greenberg, and all these Jets fans that are national Jets fans losing their minds. I'm here for it because it's taking my mind off the Packers a little bit. Well, at least off a Sunday.
It's just funny to watch, the Jets unable to score against the Broncos in the rain in New York. It's beautiful. It's wonderful.
But
I love it.
Why are the Broncos? Why is it such a big deal? Because the Broncos are terrible? I don't understand. Why is it such a big deal that they lost to the Broncos?
Well, you have Aaron Rodgers, and you just marched up and down the field the week before, and your offense was suddenly back, and Aaron Rodgers was back. And then the Broncos come in, and the big component of that is Sean Payton. Because Sean Payton 2 years ago had talked mad shit about Nathaniel Hackett, who, of course, is boys with Aaron, and so that became personal. So they come in, and they're starting Bo Nix, their rookie quarterback, who's not looking very good out of the gate, which is, expected. And the Jets have a good defense, so not a surprise that they didn't score a ton of points, but they scored more than the Jets, who have four-time MVP Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. So, of course, Jets fans lose their fucking minds. And it's, as you say, hilarious.
It is. It's chef's kiss. Two quick things. I know we didn't have the Jets on our thing, but two quick things about the Jets. One is also when the one reason never to listen to a Jets fan. They don't know anything about fucking football. It's very evident. Anybody who's in the national media who's a Jets fan knows zero about football. You can talk about, I don't know ball, whatever. You can talk all kinds of shit about me. But if you're a Jets fan and you talk about football on television, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's very evident. Two, and that's everybody. That's a blanket general statement that I'll stand behind. And then two, Who in their right mind, okay? And now I know, I'm here. I'm a target for the Aaron Rodgers hate that's about to come my way, right? All the Aaron Rodgers. Okay, name a time in Aaron Rodgers' career where he was able to quickly get on the same page with a wide receiver inside of a year. Name one time. You're not going to find it. And two, all of this could have been predicted for the very thing I just said. Aaron Rodgers is not a leader, and he doesn't get along with his wide receivers, and he doesn't take the time to tell them to get on the same page. So everybody can talk all this fucking shit about the coaches and everybody else, but 2 years ago he was telling us everything he was about hand signals that we joked about that was actually true. It was like, if you've known me a long time as Aaron Rodgers, then we're going to be on the same page. And if I've just met you this year or even last year, we don't know each other, and there's no way we're ever going to get on the same page. And you're seeing it right now. It's so crazy to me.
See, I would push back on some of that, except we've watched as Alan Lazard has been one of the main targets throughout Aaron's time in New York.
Which is pathetic. Alan Lazard couldn't make another NFL team.
Make another NFL team.
Alan Lazard couldn't replace Bo Melton, bro. Everybody wants to talk shit about Bo Melton. Well, Bo Melton will make a fucking NFL team, and Alan Lazard would not if he didn't have Aaron Rodgers. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy that he has not taken the time to get on the same page with one of the best wide receivers in the league, supposedly. That's crazy to me.
Right.
But you know what? You got to have some humility to do that. So, that's real leadership.
Let's talk about the Packers defense, shall we? As we
do
Jets Transplants live here. Let's talk about the defense, and sadly, we got to start with something that is just, lots of people have been pointing it out, and I think there's some truth to the narrative. As usual, it's somewhat overblown, but man, right now, Rashawn Gary is not winning. He isn't winning. He's gotten one-on-one opportunities. There are plays that are designed specifically to get him one-on-one opportunities, and he ain't winning, especially against that Vikings tandem at tackle. And I understand the Vikings tackles are really good. Yes, Rashawn Gary is supposed to be really good. You don't discount plays or reps because the opponent is talented. There's a reason you've been paid the way you have. And I don't sit here and think, he's got to play like Bosa or Crosby or any of these other pass rushers, right? Like, I understand that he is who he is. But, man, he has, throughout his tenure in Green Bay, shown a lot more than he has so far this season through 4 games. Like, I get that there's a new scheme. I get that he's probably being asked to do some different things. But, man, when you're unable to beat a tight end, when you're unable to run through a running back, when you're being stoned down after down after down, and you're supposed to be the premier pass rusher of the Green Bay Packers, man, there's something up. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's going to take to unlock it, but Rashawn needs to figure it out. Here's the other thing. He's way too good to look this pedestrian. He's a really good football player who right now looks like a guy. And that cannot continue
crazy.
Through 2024. That cannot continue.
I mean, you could say that about the entire defensive line after that game. So, but yeah, that's crazy to me. Like, he's definitely not a guy. To your point. Like,
you're not worried about him.
Not that guy. Yeah, you shouldn't be worried about Rashawn Gary.
I mean, there are a couple of, not a couple. There are plenty of plays where you can look at, and yes, he gets attention, right? They either chip him with a back or bring a tight end in specifically to hit him before they go out on a route. You're going to get that kind of attention because of your reputation. But I tell you what, he continues to play like he has been, teams are going to stop paying attention to him because they know they don't have to worry about it. I mean, that, to me, again, like, he's too good to look this pedestrian. Something's got to change. And to your point, you're right. The front four as a whole, no matter who that combination is up front, has not been great.
Well, and how do this is going to be my new goal for next year. Okay, I'm just letting you know this because you're going to laugh at me. I love how my glasses I closed this window because it's so windy here in Green Bay today, and that was a major mistake. I'm going to tell you right now.
Now you're just in a sauna.
Crazy. Yeah, it's good times. But I'm here for you guys, so you got to get this view for Transplants. So I'm here
Gotta
for
do
it.
it.
And also, I could have a minute before the show, I could have taken these long sleeves off, but I'm an idiot. But one thing that I have a goal for next year, Aaron, and I know you're going to be very surprised at this,
Okay.
is I've been starting to watch. I didn't do it this week, but I did it last week. I've been starting to watch, the coach tape one time, like for the whole game.
Ooh.
And so I want to do that next year because those are the things that you kind of see. I feel like I get better as I watch the game and I see a lot, but you only see what the broadcast shows you.
Right.
But that is very interesting. And I guess my question about this whole Rashawn Gary thing is like, how much of our defensive line issues are because Hafley hasn't figured out what to do with our defensive line, and or this new scheme, right? And I know defensive line, there's less scheming, but there might even be more scheming. There might be more differences.
Well,
so how much is it
there's-
that they just need to be able to relax in the scheme? Maybe we haven't gotten to that relaxation point.
I think there's something to what you're talking about. Here's the thing. When you look at the other teams that run this type of scheme, whether it is the Jets or the 49ers or the Texans, traditionally the style that you see is not predicated on pressure, blitzing, numbers. It is about winning with your front four. Now, not every team follows the same formula, obviously, but I know Jets fans drive themselves insane because Saleh won't blitz. Like he almost exclusively rushes four. I think Hafley's got a lot more in his bag as far as what we might see going forward. And that leads me to the next point here. He has to trust what he sees. You saw in the second half of that game, there was no doubt he had, I don't want to call it tricks up his sleeve, but he certainly had plenty of stuff in his bag. Getting pressure on the quarterback, getting Keyshawn Nixon free on that pressure that resulted in a strip sack fumble. And I understand you can't call that every play. I'm not talking about you got to blitz more, right? But at some point, you have to adjust to the fact that we are 3 drives in. They have scored 21 points, and my front four cannot get home. It is time to start dialing it up. He did that in the second half, but by then they're down 28-7. I just felt like he didn't trust what he saw soon enough. Like, I get you want to get home with 4. You especially want to get home with 4 when you're down 2 cornerbacks, especially your starting star corner in Jair Alexander. You're trying to protect your back end. And we certainly saw that play out at the end of the game. They did try to send a big blitz, big pressure. They got it blocked up. I mean, they get paid too. They identified it. They blocked it up. And Jefferson made mincemeat of the secondary. That's going to happen. I understand it, right? But, man, get to that earlier. You got to trust the fact what your eyes are showing you. Like, I understand we're trying to get home with 4 so we can play kind of dial-up coverage on the back end and confuse the quarterback, and hopefully we'll get one. And they almost did on that first drive. But meanwhile, you're getting picked apart on third down. Your guys are getting stonewalled, and you're doing absolutely nothing to make the quarterback uncomfortable. Like, I think if Hafley just trusts himself and goes, you know what, it's time to start dialing it up a little bit, prior to, okay, I'm going into half and I can talk to my coaches, I can talk to the players, and now we're going to start doing some different things. I think maybe they have a chance of getting off the field a little bit sooner and with more regularity in the first half. But hey, look, it's his first time being an NFL defensive coordinator. I get it, man. He's probably really doing a lot of on-the-job training here.
Yeah.
I know he knows defensive football like nobody's business, but
there's a huge missing piece not having Jair and available to you, and then
course.
Eric Stokes not being the corner that we've been wanting him to be. And, the struggles and to be honest, we talked about linebackers, and you can never have enough depth at cornerback, and we've seen this repeatedly with the Green Bay Packers at cornerback. It's just a really hard position to keep around for a very long time. And I do think a lot of the way the first half went was, him trying to figure out how much he could or could not trust his corners. The answer was
he's protecting them. He's trying to. No, he couldn't. He's trying to protect them. He's really trying to protect them with a lot of those calls.
Yep.
And unfortunately, like even instances where he's like, okay, I'm going to, I have a man coverage with Stokes on Jefferson with a safety over the top on that first down where they do the double move on the other side to Addison. Ballantyne, no help, just gets toasted. That's what he's trying to protect against a lot of the time, where I got to keep safeties over the top. I have to make sure that these guys are taken care of because I know they can't match up with these wide receivers. So I get he's a bit in, rock and a hard place territory, but I just think at some point he needed to kind of adjust. And we saw in the second half, they certainly seemed to, get after it a little bit more and certainly kept the Vikings off the board, though some of that's the Vikings making their own mistakes, whatever, but that's going to happen.
I mean, that's a bigger thing. I know that's a bigger thing. I think we talked about it a little bit last night, and it's something that's a positive thing that I want to talk about this team. I don't know how everybody else feels, but, somebody said this last night. I want to attribute it to the right Patreon member, but I agree with it wholeheartedly. But the Packers are still ascending. The Vikings feel like they've plateaued. And I do think there's something there. How long can the Vikings sustain what they're doing right now? And I don't know. I think we're going to see, and that's going to be one of the more fascinating things to watch.
It's certainly a valid question. I know that is something that is being talked about and written about, and content creators are doing stuff about in the Vikings sphere. Like I've seen a couple articles about that exact subject because they are playing very well. They are living with a lead almost every single game. Is that your formula for the entire season? Can that be sustained? We'll see.
Also,
we'll find out.
Here's something that I hate about algorithms. I literally discovered on Monday all of these Vikings content creators that I never heard about.
Right.
And I just wonder how much of that is TikTok saying fuck you to me, and how much of that is oh, yeah, Minnesota Vikings are good now. I'm going to make content off of it. And I feel like it's a little more of the second than it is of the first, but
there's probably some of that.
There's a lot of the Vikings are cool. I'm going to make content about the Vikings.
Yeah.
It's really annoying. I know.
But hey, just check back with those folks at the end of the year when they don't make the playoffs or something, or they flame out in the playoffs. It's always receipts.
I don't know what's more annoying. Actually, you know what? Bears content creators are way more annoying than Vikings so far. So, yeah, I feel like Bears content creators are more annoying because they do all that stupid accent, and they'll be and then there's this one guy I cannot stand. He makes songs about the Bears in the stupid Bears Chicago dumb accent, you know what I mean? But they're all cheesy songs about the Bears, and then he wears a Ditka mustache. It's just really?
Of course he does. Right.
Yeah, it's like bad Bears fan Tom Grossi wannabe.
Right. Yeah, but Corey, think about it though. If you're wandering the NFL wilderness as a Chicago Bears fan and knowing your team is garbage and you suck and you're not going to win anything anytime soon, you got to entertain yourself, and you got to at least try to make it fun, which is probably what they're doing. Now it's probably terrible, but you're trying to have fun with it. I get that. I mean, it'd be like us creating Cheesehead TV and trying to create content in 1982, right?
I would still try it. I would have tried it.
Some dark times.
I wouldn't have wore a mustache though. I wouldn't have wore a dumb mustache.
I might a Bart Starr coach's jacket.
I would have worn a Lombardi jacket and Lombardi glasses and a Lombardi hat, which I still might do. Also, thank you, Chad. It was Marty who said that the Vikings had plateaued. So
thank you,
Marty. The one time Marty came to the Patreon happy hour and you could actually listen to his microphone because it was working. So thanks, Marty.
Yeah, that's a fair warning to anyone who deigns to join us on happy hour. You better have your tech correct or Corey will call you out. No doubt about it.
It's just annoying when people are talking and they haven't figured out how to fucking talk on a Zoom. Really?
No. Did we
go through a pandemic? What did we do here? What were we doing? Did we learn anything?
When you call, you're like, hey, what do you got to say? And someone's really passionately launching into something and their mic is muted.
Yeah.
You're muted.
I mean, that's me.
You're muted.
The muted thing it happens to everybody, and that's happened to me actually live on shows before, so I totally get that. But not tech checking your mic to see if it's actually working. I mean, shit, this show and Watch Party have been muted for multiple times. But yeah, not doing a tech check on your mic. Or Marty he'll I'm gonna do my workout and I'm gonna walk around and then I'm gonna turn my video camera off and then I'm gonna just talk and it's just That's what happens when you live in a Schwabenon, you know?
We love you, Marty. We love you.
You just people that live in a Schwabenon, there's something weird about them. You know what I'm saying? It's just
right across the
there's
street,
something
you mean?
weird. No, that's Green Bay. That's Green Bay.
No, that's Green Bay, but then you go one block more, and that's not Schwabenon.
Behind that and to the left and right, that's all.
I know where it is.
There's something there's something weird about a Schwabenon. I can't put my finger on it.
Oh my God.
Let's
talk about Edgerrin Cooper, shall we? Edgerrin Cooper. It's only a matter of time. It's so obvious that he is so much more explosive, so much more athletic. I'm not going to say better because he's only in, game 4 of his NFL career. So I'm sure there are plenty of instances where he's making wrong reads or doing the wrong adjustment or whatever. But, man, it is only a matter of time before this kid is on the field full time. And I cannot wait for that day because it has been a long time since the Green Bay Packers had a linebacker seemingly this exciting to watch. I mean, every play, he just jumps off the tape. He is everywhere. And there's the play that Nixon forces that strip sack fumble. You would have thought Cooper was shot out of a cannon. I mean, he comes from 15 yards away in the blink of an eye to scoop up that football. This kid is so exciting. Cannot wait to see more and more and more of him. It's only a matter of time.
What do you think stopping him from getting on the field more?
They trust the guys that have been with the team. They have a relationship with McDuffie, they being Jeff Hafley. McDuffie goes back to Hafley's time in Boston College. You know, Wilson's a longtime vet. Coaches love guys who are assignment sure, know the assignments, are able to be counted on every single adjustment, every single moment. You know what they know the drill. They know what they're supposed to do. We saw this all the time when Jerry Montgomery was the defensive line coach. It's why they always kept trotting out, what's his name? Dean Lowry again and again and again, even though Devontae Wyatt was there, ready to be developed. But Devontae Wyatt couldn't get on the field because of Dean fucking Lowry.
The defense needs to take a page from the offense then. Because the offense is...
Well, this is what I was saying on the radio the other day, Corey. We saw all of their growing pains on offense early in the season last year, right? We saw Luke Musgrave getting yelled at on the sideline. We saw bad spacing. We saw, the mistakes, right? And then we saw them gel and become a offensive juggernaut down the back half of the year, right? Let Cooper out there now in September and October to make these mistakes so that by the time you are getting to November and December, it's at the point where he knows all the mistakes he's made and he's learned from them. I'd much rather have those mistakes and problematic moments now. Don't get him on the field. He's so clearly more athletic and has tons more upside than anybody else out there at linebacker. That's just me. I'm crazy, but it seems so apparent.
I mean, you are crazy. So
it's true. It's fair. Talk about crazy. This was an interesting topic that came up last night on Happy Hour, speaking of which. Yeah. Kicker, Corey. Can it get worse?
Nah, I don't want to talk about it.
Can it get worse? Can it get worse?
You know how you were in a fight with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever kind of friend you have? And you're in a fight and it just hits really close to the bone.
Yep. It's really sensitive.
It's just extremely sensitive, and it's just the time. It's like you just want to take some time, and you just want some you time. Yep. And your partner is like, I need this, and you're just like, I can't talk about this right now. That's how I feel right now. I don't want to talk about the fucking kicker. I didn't want to talk about the fucking kicker in the beginning of the season. Didn't want to draft a fucking kicker. I don't want to talk about the fucking kicker. I hate the fucking kickers. Okay.
How much you want to bet Brian has done exactly what you just did in his office at some point this season?
Yeah, on Brian's to-do list for his entire GMing since replace Mason
man.
Crosby. He's had that on his
Right.
to-do list, right? If he's
it's
like me, he
collecting
probably
dust.
he has like a pad, and I have this pad, and I've got my to-do list, right? I've got
Right.
and you know how there's some things on your to-do list that they just stay on your to-do list, and you can never fucking get them off your to-do list, no matter what you do.
Yep. Nope.
That's been on Brian's to-do list forever. It's like replace
Yep.
Mason Crosby, and he's like, I don't want to. It's like, and then it's like, and in his little timer, his iPhone goes off, and it's like scout kickers, and he's like,
he's like,
I don't wanna
he just
scout
resets
kickers.
it. It's like you with the Trello board. Every time we
Just
come up
move it
against
over.
like some kind of deadline, you're just like, oh, we're gonna move that deadline.
Yeah, exactly.
Back 3-4
30
weeks.
days from now, 60 days from now.
That's Brian.
That's what he's
Brian's
done,
hitting the Trello card and just like extending the deadline a month or so every time.
Brian has no fucking interest in scouting kickers. He has zero interest. Also, maybe he's delegated scouting kickers for so long.
Right.
He's kicked the can down the road and then fired everybody who's scouted kickers that didn't do a good job. Like, I wonder if he fired who scouted Narv Puppy.
I don't think so.
He did say in his press conference that he wasn't patient enough with Anders Carlson.
Right.
So I wonder what was the thing that made him lose his patience with Anders Carlson. What was that?
Probably that missed field goal in the last preseason game where I thought, and I think everybody thought, oh, Carlson's made the team. And then he missed like a bunny shot right at the end. And I think that was the last straw. I think that was it. Because he had been perfect that whole week of practice.
But do you think why did he say he wishes he was more patient? Do you think he regrets it now?
Probably.
So
because God knows. It's hilarious to say that right after you cut a guy who you've literally had for a year, like one season, and you wanted to be more patient. Like, just be more patient. Just keep him around. But then, where does the extension of patience exist? Like, how long does it last? And where does the context fall as far as in season or out of season? Because if we're in the off season, yeah, it's easy to say, which you kind of are at the end of training camp, right? The season hasn't started yet. You can say, I need to be patient. So is that a month? Is that 2 months? Because we've gone a month now, and the kid has missed a kick in every single fucking game.
I mean, but Anders Carlson did the same thing.
Anders Carlson missed extra points. He made most of his field goals.
But an extra point's easier than a fucking field goal.
Supposedly. Well, then you should be very happy with Narv Puppy because he's made every single extra point.
I'm not happy with any kicker. I
see
think
how I got you to talk about kickers?
There's no happiness. There's no happiness when it comes to the fucking kickers. I remember. I mean, I'm starting to get PTSD. Who was the guy we drafted? I remember we just started. I feel like it was like before Mason Crosby. It must have been like 2009, 2007, 8 when we started Packer Transplants. Who was that
Brett Conway
kid?
Or something?
Yeah.
Oh no, he was a punter. That was
No, but Conway,
Ginger
right?
Wolverine.
We drafted Conway, right? Didn't we draft Conway?
Right. Yes.
And then he sucked. And then
he wasn't good.
Yeah, well, I don't want to talk about kickers.
But that was, I think that's before CHTV existed. But
can we just move
all those
on?
years blend together? Yeah, we can.
Let's
talk about this Packers-Rams game real quick. Corey, I love this nugget. I absolutely adore this nugget about the Packers and the Rams, who are facing off for the 100th time as organizations. I love this. This is number 100. The Packers are looking to beat the Rams in California for the first time since December 18th, 1966.
Yeah, but we beat them in St. Louis at home.
Yes, I understand this.
So this statistic.
But I remember the LA Rams when I was a kid.
This is one of those. This is one of those one of those ESPN. The Packers.
No. This is great.
It kind of
Merlin
is,
Olsen, that whole crew couldn't beat them. Gonna have to beat them on Sunday.
Guess what? We're gonna beat them on Sunday. I'm not worried about the freaking Rams.
That's the hope. By the way, yes, you're right. We're supposed to beat them. The Packers are favored by 3.5. They opened at 3 as the favorites. They are up to 3.5 as favorites. Everyone thinks the Packers are going to go out there and take care of business. I mean, which they should, of course.
The Packers have proven this year, not last year, that we beat the teams we're supposed to beat. We weren't supposed to beat the Minnesota Vikings last Sunday.
Well, I guess it depends on which prognosticators you're listening to, but yeah, I can buy that at face value.
Well, I'm not listening to prognosticators. I'm just saying like a team are they were undefeated, we're not, and they had all the
coming
better
off
things.
right.
Yeah,
I got it. I feel you.
I mean,
I feel you.
I guess we were favored at one point, right, for that game.
I believe so. Yeah.
I think on Tuesday we
even
said we were favored, and then it went backwards though. I think they overtime.
Well, we know the Packers are favored this week. If you want to hear a football-style breakdown, make sure you subscribe to the Cheesehead TV Nation newsletter. Each and every week, we got the newsletter out in your inbox Thursday mornings and then the morning after every single game. Tomorrow morning, a new video with myself, Andy Herman, breaking down the game for our diehard members of Cheesehead TV Nation. Make sure you subscribe. The link to do so is in the description of this video. It'll be in your inbox tomorrow morning. You got anything else till we get to the next bit, Corey?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
This week in the Packer blogosphere.
That's right. It's this week in the Packer blogosphere, the return of that venerable series. Before we get going, I got something very important to say, Corey. Oh,
I like it.
My God, that is gorgeous. Carry the G Cream Ale, available all across the state of Wisconsin.
That's your first beer of the day? Wow.
Mm-hmm. Second. Sir. Sir, it is 6 o'clock Eastern. There's no way it's first. Sir, who are you talking to? I do love this. Okay. So you see the chat when we're doing Watch Party, and I know you're on Twitter intermittently. Man, it's so fun to watch people hate on a player, right? And then have like the film nerds, the analytics folks turn around and go, actually, this guy's playing pretty well. Which is exactly what happened earlier today. Shout out Aaron Schatz, the founder of Football Outsiders back in the day, now works for FTN Fantasy. He invented DVOA, which I know you're a huge fan of, Corey. DVOA, today, he put out. So last week he put out top corners through 3 weeks, and a certain Packers corner was listed, and legit set the Packers blogosphere on fire with all these draft nerds and all these film dudes going like, he's actually playing terrible. So now this week, Aaron Schatz puts the Packers, he's this list of dudes, right, from all these corners, top cornerbacks by coverage DVOA, weeks 1 through 4. There's like 4 or 5 guys, and then the Packer who will not be named. Because so many morons on Twitter like came after him about this guy, this Packers cornerback, actually playing pretty well. And so I had to put this out there, this picture today. If
tweets like that, here's the thing about a tweet like that.
Yeah.
That just proves how important the Green Bay Packers are to football.
Well, because we have a voracious fan base.
Yep. We have such a voracious fan base that national media people are annoyed by us because we're relentless. See, that's good. I love it.
It is good.
Also, the only thing worse than DVOA is PFF. So there you go.
DVOA is far superior to PFF. But here, wait, show this next picture. Here you go, Corey. Can you guess who it is?
Here's the thing about, we said this last night a little bit, and I said this, but the thing about Keyshawn Nixon, he's a fucking football player in 2024.
Boom!
So anybody who says they don't like him or thinks he plays bad, go fuck yourself. That guy is a football player. And you know what? We need more football players on our team than less. We need more Keyshawn Nixons, not less. So,
someone in my mentions today put it perfectly. And I'm going to paraphrase the response, but it is absolutely encapsulated exactly how I feel about this. It's like so much of this is driven by the draft industrial complex. Because look, I 100% agreed coming off last season, they needed to upgrade at slot corner. I thought Keyshawn had a bit of a rough outing his first time in the slot. Certainly could get a player probably even high in the draft, find someone as a replacement. Clearly, the Packers disagreed. They signed him to a contract, re-signed him, brought him back into the fold, have inserted him as their slot, and played him on the outside as well. Now, I'm not a fan of that, but that's what the Packers are doing. And this idea that, oh, they could have done this or they could have done that, people hold on to that for dear life, forever. It's like, dude can be 25, 30 games into his career, and people are still, oh, well, they could have drafted or they could have done this. They didn't. This is where we live now. Get on board. And to your point, Corey, he's a goddamn football player. Is he the best slot corner in the league? No. Can he help you play winning football? Absolutely. And all this tape breakdown where people point out, oh, he struggled here or he missed that or he got beat here. A, every single fucking corner in the league gets beat. Every single one.
Yep.
B, that guy is a dog when it comes to throwing himself around, coming up and helping, like, try and stop the run. Is he the best run defender? No. Is he a willing tackler? Absolutely. Like,
that's
how many years have we watched guys just throw themselves at ball carriers' feet because they're making business decisions and they don't want to be physical? Nixon's physical. He throws himself around. And then you look at that play he made. He made one of the biggest plays in the game on Sunday. And people are like, oh, it's just not good enough. Like, it drives me nuts, man. This whole living in your priors rather than rooting for the actual team on the field. It drives me nuts.
Keyshawn Nixon, during the 2007 NFC Championship game at Lambeau Field, which is the second coldest fucking game of all time, he would have fucking dropped on the ball, and we would have won the game. But guess who didn't? Jared fucking Bush. So you know what? I'd rather have a football player than a specialist, okay? As good as Jared Bush turned out, he's not a football player like Keyshawn Nixon is a football player, an all-around. He never was that guy, and he never was aggressive like Keyshawn Nixon.
That's fair. That's fair. And I love that. That's kind of like you being like Walter in Big Lebowski. Like, we're talking about whatever, and then you just start bringing up Vietnam for no reason. You can turn anything into Jared Bush. I love it.
I mean, I'm sorry for those of us that lived.
You're scarred for life. You were there. I get it.
I was at 2007 and 2014 in Seattle, and I still have bigger scars from like, if I see that fucking diagram of all the people that Brett Favre could have thrown to in overtime, I'm gonna unalive myself.
Yep, I hear you. I get it. But hey, you know who is alive? Jimmy Carter. He hit 100 years old. Shout out to the only president ever to hit 100, which prompted this tweet, which is absolutely amazing. He saw World War II. He saw the collapse of the Soviet Union, but never saw the Minnesota Vikings win a Super Bowl. Now, you know, technically this isn't like a tweet that makes a lot of sense because he hasn't passed.
He still could. Yeah, he still
could see the Vikings could win it this year. And if he's still with us, he'll see that. Yeah. But after watching what we watched on Sunday, that tweet made me laugh so hard. I had to include it. I had to throw it up. It's so good. All right, let's see what people are saying on the old YouTube chat. Corey, what do we got?
Ed.
What's being thrown down out there?
Ed, cannot take my advice and wait until week 8 before getting too up or down. I want a defense now. I mean, you had a defense last week, just not this week. Marshall Duke, who are you guys? Read comparisons. I see a pre-perfect hit prime Antonio Brown.
He's trending that way, Marshall. I mean, I don't say that lightly. I think he can be very, very special. No question.
Dustin Logan, I know Narv Kitten missed the 37-yarder, but the loss was a team effort, and we will bouncy back. Gotta lose 2 to go 15-2. Go Pack Go. I like your attitude, Dustin.
Come on, Dustin.
There you go. I like your attitude. Although, if we don't fix our kicker situation, we're fucked. Mimsy. Man. Jimmy Carter lived to 100 and never seen a Minnesota Super Bowl. Mimsy, perfect timing there. Perfect timing.
Look at you, Mimsy.
Godsmack AR69. If Narvison keeps crapping the bed, we'll have to downgrade him from Narv Puppy to Narv Poopy.
Oh, no.
Maddie Day. What's going
up,
on, Maddie Day? I might be seeing Matty Day
shout out
tonight.
Matty
Having some
Day. We
drink-
have some
the OG.
Green Bay royalty in the house.
Live from Stadium Drive himself, Matty Day. Also, not just Green Bay royalty, but Wisconsin musicianship royalty.
Very
here.
true. Very, very true.
Brian must
Make sure
bring
you
back Anders.
Make sure you check out Matty's band, Hang Ten.
Yes.
They're amazing, and his solo stuff, incredible stuff.
Yes, he just recently won Green Bay Songwriter of the Year award last year, I believe.
I'm
Brian
not
must
surprised.
bring back Anders. Sign the young man as a free agent, as he ought to have from the start, and right all wrongs. Rebrand him as Gnarly Carly and Sure Durs to break the Carlson curse. I mean, I feel like it's likely. Like with Brian, I think Brian with his statements about wanting to be patient, I think it might
We'll
happen,
see.
right?
That's possible.
Does Brian have
All I
that
know
kind
is-
of humble pie? Does he
We'll
have
see.
that ability to eat some
we'll
humble
see.
pie?
Ted did. Ted brought guys back all the time. I don't know if Brian's got that in him. I mean, he's done once or
technically,
twice. but
Anders
I don't know.
hasn't done anything better anywhere else, so
No, of course not. Maddie, what I want to know is, can we use your Gutekunst song, like as a Cheesehead TV bump? We need that in our life. That shit is hilarious. All right.
That is hilarious. John Simitovich, DA back GB. What? The back GB, or do I need to go touch some grass?
Oh, Devontae Adams back in Green Bay.
Devontae.
No,
I'm
Devontae Adams is not coming
terrible,
back
John.
to Green Bay. Go touch some grass, John.
I mean, can't we come up with $30 million?
They could, but they like the future.
Can Devontae veto his trade?
I think so, yeah. I think he's got...
No.
you
He
know,
would veto
as
then.
far as,
I don't think he wants
because,
to come
well,
back to Green Bay.
he can veto it by not agreeing to the contract with whoever the new team might be.
Scott Dockendorf, bummed I missed happy hour this week. What has happened to Dobbs? Thanks for all you both and the team do. Thanks, Scott. What do you mean Dobbs
Thanks,
played
Scott.
last play? Dobbs had some plays.
He did, but he also had a drop or two. Like, look,
He did.
they all fell short on Sunday. They all did. I think Dobbs is, like, as far as, picking up where he left off, no, that hasn't happened, but nobody has. They're all having to play themselves back into whatever form we saw down the stretch last year. That's not just Dobbs. But I suspect we'll see him continue to grow as the offense does and become sharper and become more efficient, because that's what the Packers absolutely 1 billion% expect and need to happen.
Joe Mailman, you think Packers are bad at picking kickers? Yes. Or developing them? Yes. Now we know why teams that have a really good one often keep them for like 15 years, including the Packers. Yes.
Big time. Big time.
John FL, is Tuck Kraft becoming a star? Can't be fumbling. His improvement over the last year has been a joy to watch. Go, Pack, go.
John, I think he's one of the most improved players I've ever seen as far as like the quickness of the development, because he looked absolutely lost last summer, first 7, 8 games of last season. And then he all of a sudden, and weird because it really coincided with Musgrave's injury, just hit the field and started really developing and becoming a lot more consistent and really doing the little things. And he's one of the few guys who has somewhat hit the ground running from the start, from week 1. Now, to your point, can't be fumbling. 100% need to catch everything. He dropped one last week. But for the most part, yeah, he is on his way. And now he's got to be consistent. He's got to do it week in and week out for the entire season and more. But yeah, the kindling is there for a star to be fired, no doubt.
Also, go out of bounds so you don't fumble, dumbass.
Get
Rabid
out of
Animal
bounds.
Zoo.
Yes.
Musgrave is MIA, right? That's a great transition, Rabid Animal Zoo.
Look at that.
He's kind of.
Yeah, he has been the opposite of Tucker. He has really kind of wilted, and it's unfortunate. I do think we'll see him utilized in various situations, but it'll be a situational thing. I don't think we're ever going to see him as a regular presence on offense, just because he just doesn't bring the physicality you need when you're trying to do some of the 2 tight end stuff, especially in the running game. I just think Tucker's surpassed him in almost every way.
That kind of sucks. I mean, it's
Yep.
good for Tucker, but it kind of sucks.
But who knows? Maybe Musgrave turns it around. I mean, nothing's linear, right? It's possible, but we'll see.
Aaron Harper, go Pack go. The Bears still suck, and the Vikings do too. Thanks, Aaron. I agree with that.
That is succinct and to the point.
Daniel Dunker, 3-4 to 4-3. New year, new system. Got to be patient. It's only week 5. Go Pack, go.
There is some wisdom there. Very much some wisdom from Daniel.
Daniel Dunkers, he's on fire today with Super Chats. Go Brewers, need to win today.
Let's go. Definitely need to win today.
Did they lose last night?
They did lose last night. Tonight is do or die. If they lose tonight,
What's
it's over.
wrong with
it's
them?
all over but the crying.
Could they not get the offense, or what happened?
No, they scored early. They actually got after it early. They took a lead, then gave it up, then took the lead again, and then really gave it up, and then they went cold. Much like
so they're playing again tonight?
Tonight, 7:30 Eastern.
Oh, nice.
Do or die time.
Maddie
it's like an
and I
NFL playoff
some
game tonight
Brewers.
for the Brewers. There you go.
Maddie and I are going to be watching some Brewers while we're drinking some beers. Rick Harris, Corey, I watched Florio and Paul Allen this morning and thought of you. I'm so sorry for you.
That is so good.
One, I'm sorry that you did that, because why would you do that?
Why
then
would
I'm
you
sorry
hurt
that
yourself like that.
Yeah,
Right.
why would you? Yeah. I mean, I don't know who's the worse. Okay, who is a more diehard Viking fan? Florio or Paul Allen?
It's got to be Paul Allen. Now, Paul Allen is paid by the organization, so maybe that negates some of the fandom as far as
But
like
that's
the rankings.
maybe why Florio is more, because Florio doesn't even need
But
the
Florio-
Vikings, and he's such a Viking shill, and they don't pay him
Yeah.
shit. Or maybe they
Yeah.
do secretly.
That's possible.
Ooh, is Mike Florio a Vikings influencer? Secretly. Maybe he's been secretly paid by the Minnesota Vikings. That would be interesting.
Maybe. Although, hey, also, remember how last night on Happy Hour you were talking about how maybe one of the officials signaled touchdown accidentally,
Yeah.
thereby triggering CBS's graphics department to run a touchdown graphic? No. I looked at the coach's tape. Literally, 2 of the guys who were standing right there point to the spot to say, okay, that's where the ball goes. And the other guy's like kind of further away, but he doesn't signal touchdown either. No one.
So I wonder that we talked about this last night. Basically, the thinking is like, who does the graphics operator in the truck take their cue from?
Who's pulling that
for
trigger?
the touchdown?
Yeah.
And typically, my understanding has been because you have seen Fox and CBS mess up, but typically it's when the referee signals touchdown, and then it comes back because of whatever. And so Aaron looked
like a flag that you
at the
didn't
tape.
see or something. Right.
But that's interesting that they just automatically
no
did
one
that.
signaled.
Somebody,
no one signaled
somebody
touchdown.
should get fired for that, seriously, or reprimanded, seriously. Danny G.
Stern reprimand.
Thanks for the super chat. Kicker equals Behnke bait. Got him. Got
True.
him.
Very true.
I mean, if the kicker didn't
He ain't
always
lying.
suck, then I would be happy. The Jimmer. How sure are we that our kicking woes are a Narv puppy problem and not Matt Orzek problem? Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, here we go. It's the
Long snapper.
operation, Corey.
Oh, dear.
Hey, what no one has talked about this week, and we can talk about right here on Packer Transplants exclusively, is the Matt Orzek revenge game. He's going back to the Rams where he won a Super Bowl ring, and now he gets to show them this is the long snapping you're missing.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack with what you just said for me personally. First off, until the Jimmer just put Matt Orzek into this tier chat, I didn't know who that was.
You had no idea who that was.
Not only did I not know who it was, but I quickly figured it out. 2, I would have never been able to tell you where he played for, and the fact that he played for them at a Super Bowl. So clearly, your mind, besides alcohol, your mind has way too much NFL craziness up in there. It's
true.
That is very true. That is an attic I do not want to walk into. Jeezy baby, I just want Carry the G song. We all do. I sing that song in the shower. So you know.
Oh,
maybe
and shout out to Jason and West Coast Pros.
Yeah.
They made a great Instagram post, a reel. They sang in front of, they basically they had a gig and they did a video, and Jason wrote a great jingle, and we obviously play it all the time on Daily.
We should. We'll show that
Party.
video at Watch Party. We should show that video on Watch Party. That'd be
yes, we 100% will. No question.
Shout out to him.
But shout out Jason, because that shit is awesome. Thank you so much.
It is. Go Pack. What's up with Rashawn this year? Hey, Go Pack. Earlier if you just rewind back to when we talked about the
go
defense.
back earlier in the show. Did a whole segment on it. Maybe Tyler will clip it for a video, but yeah, a lot.
Yeah, because then we can have this great dialogue with all these awesome people on social media who will tell us how much we don't know football because we talked shit for 2 seconds about Kenny Clark. That's exactly Rashawn Gary, is not like, yeah, that was fun. I was glad he clipped that off because that was great. That was just amazing. I liked that. Mimsy, glad this year's if 1 of 10 things don't go wrong game happened week 4 and not in the NFC Championship game. Vikings will implode, market 0, Brewers TBD. Brewers TBD.
Brewers TBD. He couldn't even give us a good, Brewers got this. He's like, Brewers TBD. That's a man who's been hurt. That's a man who's watched the Brewers flame out every single fucking year since 2018. Mimsy, I feel you, dog. I feel you.
So wait, if the Brewers win, though, which they will tonight, mark my words,
right.
Then they have to play again, right?
Tomorrow night.
Yeah, they have to play again. Yeah.
Tomorrow night.
Oh, gotcha. And then if they win tomorrow night, then they're going to throw champagne everywhere again, right?
Correct. And then they
That's
go
annoying.
and play this weekend in the NLDS.
Got it. That's all we got.
Is that it? Let's give a shout out to all of our Patreon members. You guys hear us talk about the Patreon happy hour all the time. Patreon members, you are the lifeblood of Cheesehead TV. We cannot thank you guys enough. If you're interested in supporting what we do here with Cheesehead TV, with the brand in its entirety, please consider signing up. It's $5 a month, and you get 10% off at our Cheesehead TV merch store, access to the happy hour, some exclusives. It's a lot of fun. People have been kind of with us now for 5-6 years. This community keeps growing. We really appreciate each and every one of you, including all of you out here on YouTube, the Carry the G Club. You guys are awesome. You guys make watch parties tons of fun. Your support means the world. Cannot thank you enough. Corey, you got anything else till we head out into the night and watch the Brewers do what they're going to do?
How about a winning seasons starting this weekend?
That's what I'm talking about. Let's do it. Let's go beat the Rams and get on the front foot and become 3-2 and just start a run. I'm down with this. That'll do it for this episode of Packer Transplants. We'd like to thank everyone who makes Cheesehead TV part of their daily Packers routine. We are and will always be devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide.
I think it's a fluid situation, and I know you guys love it, especially Nagler. I can see you smirking at me right there. We're going to take it one day at a time, and it's going to be fluid, though. That's all I can tell you.